Hi guys, good morning. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you an update from my surgery. And I also thought I would tell you a story that I find really helpful in my life, especially when I want to jump to label things as good or bad. So, where am I? I am in Guatemala. It is 8:13 in the morning. I'm here with Miss Stella, and we've got a nice cup of tea going, and the meow is there. And what day is today? I think there's only about a week left that I'm in this apartment, and it's been such a pleasure. Why don't we get this going? So here's my little tripod I like to use. We'll put this guy in there. So now I can go hands-free because maybe you know, I like to talk with my hands. So, good morning everybody, and welcome to today. I'm really happy to say that my surgery went really well. In fact, it hardly feels like a surgery at all, even though they did technically open up my body, cut out pieces of my body, and then re-sew it up. So I think that counts as a surgery. So if you don't know, hi everyone, good morning Melissa, good morning Debbie, hi MD, hi Shasta, hi Arnell, shout out from the Philippines, cool. You know, I gotta learn how to say hello in Tagalog, right? Tagalog? Please educate me. So, I don't know if you saw, but I had surgery 4 days ago. Maybe you can see the stitches. In the back of my mouth there are stitches. The surgery was to close up the hole from my wisdom tooth surgery in June. Now maybe you know there was this big saga where it got infected. I didn't take the antibiotics as Tagalog, thank you. I didn't take the antibiotics as the doctor prescribed. I was being very stubborn about doing things my way. I'm sure you can't relate to that. And it didn't heal properly. And so while I had 2 wisdom teeth taken out, and the one on top, it closed just fine, but the other one, it remained as this kind of like open hole in my gums. And so when I went to the dentist for something else a couple of weeks ago, she saw that. She's like, that's not normal. And so she suggested that we do this minor surgery to repair what was unhealed. So we did it. And it was definitely emotional. I've had a lot of trauma in my teeth. I'm sure maybe you've gathered that by now. I was really grateful that my friend Luke came with me to support me, and we did the surgery. She scooped it out, did an X-ray, all the things, sewed it back up, and sent me along. And now I have to say, I was kind of scared, because if you know Tim Butler, you had 26 teeth removed at one time. Do you even have 26 teeth? That's amazing. Hi, Scott. Good morning. Oh, Andrea. Oh, dry sockets in all 4. I'm so sorry. So I'm really happy to say that it went so well. As you can see, I have no swelling. In the past 3 days, I've taken here in silence. The doctor's orders, I did not leave the house. I did not talk, except, well, to the animals. It's kind of hard not to talk to the animals. And I was a little scared leaving the doctor's office, like, oh no, is this going to turn into a whole thing? And I went to the pharmacy and got pain medicine because I was pretty sure it was going to be this ordeal like last time. And I was so pleased that the first day there was a little bit of swelling, but it went away. So very little swelling, no pain, no redness, no infection, no nothing, and no antibiotics. So I went to a holistic dentist. Now, if she had prescribed me antibiotics, I would have taken them. But she had other methods and modalities. So I think the big difference was this time it was stitched up. So it wasn't just left as an open hole in my gums. It was stitched up. It was cleaned with ozonated water. So there was no bacteria. There was nothing bad in there. And then it was closed. And then I was given a protocol of some different homeopathic remedies to use. I also have been using oregano oil, bee propolis, which turns out it's a natural antibiotic antiviral, anti-inflammatory. So I've been using these natural remedies that I wasn't using last time, and so far so good. I think my challenge now is to really just keep going slow and not rush ahead, because do you know how sometimes it's like you take one step forward and then it's like, oh, I'm doing great. No, like the healing process, you know, some of you very aptly commented like the rest and going slow is like so important. But I definitely feel like I'm doing really, really well. So, hi Scotty, hi at work. I'm here with Miss Stella, who is, you know, Stella is so sweet, and she has chosen me, you know? You remember how I was talking about how I was looking forward to the future when a dog chooses me? Because that's how it works here. You know, when you're in the States, if you want a dog, you go to the animal shelter and you adopt a dog, ideally. Right? And you like take the dog and you put it in your car and you like contain the dog and you take it home and you put it in a fenced area, and you in some ways you kind of take the animal hostage. That's not how it works here, because there really are no fences. Like, animals roam free, so if a dog, in order to adopt a dog, that dog has to choose you. It has to choose of its own free will to stay near you, and it has to choose you. So we don't really take animals hostage here. That's just not how the system works. So I'm very pleased to say that Miss Stella has chosen me. She stays by my side. She's been a wonderful companion to me and I to her, and we've made the commitment to each other, which feels really good. So, and you may notice, she's not itching. She's not scratching. Right? If you saw in my other videos, you noticed that she couldn't stop scratching. So, we have done the flea medicine. I also got an ointment that I've been putting on her itchies, and so she's doing much better. She's gained weight. In fact, I call her a little, she's got this little belly now. I call her a little fat pig belly, like little pot belly. So she loves tummy time. She loves the tummy taps. And I've made arrangements, because I'm going to the States very soon. I'm spending the month of October in the States with my family. And so I've made arrangements for my friend Erin to come and feed her and make sure she's okay while I'm gone. So I've done the best that I can to take care of her. And I'm really excited when I get back to move into this new house and to adopt a dog. In fact, you want to know something funny? And this is going to go into the story that I want to tell. You know, it's so easy to want to label things good or bad. Or, I want it this way, and I didn't get my way, and this is bad, or this is good, and this is the way it should be, and this is the way it shouldn't be. So if you're watching my videos, maybe you would have noticed in the past couple of weeks, I made 2 videos. One where it was called I'm So Disappointed. And in my search for looking for a place to live when I come back from the States in November, I was on the hunt for a house. So I've got a couple leads, and one lead led me to this really beautiful house up on the hill, which I was so excited about. It had a beautiful little yoga deck, it had a charming little kitchen, it had a view of the whole valley. It was lovely. And I gave the guy my yes, but the only problem was that I wasn't going to be able to take it till November. He wasn't so excited about that, but I said, hey, you can find someone for a short term, and then I'll start my lease in November. So I thought we agreed. I thought he said yes. And so I was very disappointed when I learned that he rented it to someone else who was ready to move in immediately and go for a long term. So I was very, very disappointed when I lost that house. And I was very sad, and I remember even the message being like, come on, dude, like, come on, no, like, come on. And, like, I resisted it. And it was like, all right, fine. And so then I found the second house, the farmhouse. And I didn't even know this place was available until a message went out to our local group. And I was so excited. And I went and I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I've always known about this house. I've always loved this house. It's right in the middle of this little permaculture farm. I'll get my fresh greens. It's right next to the water, the path to the waterfall. I'll be able to go hiking every day. Oh, yes. And I gave him my yes, and I thought we had an agreement. And so you can imagine how disappointed I was again when he messaged me a few days later and says, hey, actually, I feel like I need to give it to someone else. I don't think you'll be comfortable with the farm workers around, you know? And I was like, and again, I was like, dude, no, like, no. Like, no, like, please, I'll change, like, please, like, give me a chance. And I, like, resisted. And it was like, no, sorry. And so I was really disappointed. And I was like, shit, where am I going to live? It's like, okay, well, I can go back to Karuna. I love Karuna. You know, as much as I would rather have my own place, you know, still living at Karuna is still, you know, an amazing option. And Luke said I could stay there, and I always have a home there. So it's like, okay, great. But I really wanted my own house. I like having my own house. I like having my own kitchen. Maybe you can relate. Do you like sharing a kitchen with a bunch of other people, or do you like having your own kitchen? I like having my own kitchen. So I had surrendered. I was like, okay, God, Spirit, Universe, Great Mystery, what do you want for me in this situation? Like, what do you want for me? Because I can see that my resistance to what is just creating all of this, like, suffering. So, okay, so show me. Surrender. So, a few days later, I got a message from my friend Maria. Maybe you've met Maria in one of my videos about the community center. She's the founder of the community center. She's also one of the owners of Hotel Lomas, a local hotel here that specializes in retreats, and it's a wonderful place. In fact, on the December retreat, we're going to be visiting there before our hike to Jaibalito. And she reached out to me and she said, hey, I heard you lost your house. I just happen to have a house that's available. This woman who's been living there for 2 years, like, suddenly has to move out and move back to the States. Would you like to come take a look? And I'm like, proceed with caution. Like, I've already been hurt so many times. Like, okay. So I went and took a look, and it was charming. It was cute. It's up on the hill. It's right across. It's right by Casa Curativa, if you know it from my other videos. And I was like I was very like, I don't want to get my hopes up here. Like, you know, when you, like, love, like, I loved, and then I was hurt, and then I was, like, hesitant to love again. But I said, okay, I looked at it, and I was like, okay, let's take it just a few days. I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to feel about it. Okay. And I had a dream about it where someone else was, like, trying to get it, and I realized that I wanted it, or something like that. It was just something. And so that morning, and this is why dreams can be very valuable tools when it comes to discerning the path and making these kinds of choices, especially when there's a lot of, like, mental zzz, right? So that morning afterwards, this was right before the fundraiser started, I messaged her and I said, okay, I'd like to take it, and I would like to make a deposit on it as soon as possible. And yeah, so I got the house. And so when we were talking about, then we got together, talking about the fundraising for the community center, and afterwards she gave me a ride home. And here's what was interesting. As we were coming home, we were sitting in front of the place down here in her car, and she said to me, maybe you've heard me talk about how there have been some robberies recently. In fact, this house that I'm moving into, it's been robbed before. So she's adding some security updates, a new gate, a new door. And she said to me, she said, Erica, one of the best things you could get for your security is a dog. A dog is the best security system. And so I'm like, are you encouraging me to get a dog? She's like, yes. So it's like my landlord was encouraging me to get a dog. And I was like, and in that moment I was like, Stella, just a day or two prior, and maybe you had heard me say this in a video, I was sitting out here on the porch with Stella, we were loving on each other, and I remember looking into her little face and being like, Stella, I wish I could adopt you. If I could adopt you, I would. And so for the first time in my life, Someone was actually encouraging me to get a dog. And so I took some days, I took some time to think about it, to feel about it. We went for our first walk. I got to see a little bit more how she interacted with others. We've really been sort of like dog dating in a way, before we made the commitment. And then it was just like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's start our life together, Stella. So the interesting thing about this, and why I highlight this, is that if I had gotten those first 2 places, I wouldn't be starting this new life with Stella. So in that moment, maybe you remember the video, I'm so disappointed. That's what it's called. You can go watch it. In that moment, I was trying to hold on to my faith that, okay, maybe there's some better plan for me, and I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to surrender, even though I'm feeling really disappointed and sad. So it's like, there are all of these unseen things going on. And the more that we can just let go and go with the flow, the more the universe can surprise us with blessings that we didn't even know were there. And I feel like that sometimes the failure of my mind is that I'm only looking at what I can see. And I have the failure or the lack of creativity in the way that the divine can just create the most incredible story that, you can't even think of. When I'm in those small things, those small emotions, that small place of like, I can't, and there's no other way, and there's no other option, and how can it possibly work out? And I don't know about you, but that's been one of the biggest challenges to my ability to trust and rely upon the hand of the divine in my life, is that I want to know how it's going to work out, and I can't see how it's going to work out, so I can't trust, and it's like, so the hows are a mechanism of the mind, right? And a lot of times they're based on fear. Oh no, if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to end up being alone and poor and abandoned on the side of the street. Right? That's that, So it's a lot of, I feel, of like learning to trust and learning to tune into the heart. Is learning to recognize those fears and learning to recognize that worry and then be like, okay, maybe this is, maybe this isn't. And which is why I would like to tell you a story. Even though I just told you a story, I'd like to tell you another story. This story comes from the Buddhist tradition. Hi everyone. Hi Lucy. Hi Laura. Hi Wajid. Hi Krista. Hey Trisha. Hey Belinda. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, before I tell you the story, I'll let you know that my surgery went really, really well. I'm healing so well. There's no pain. There's no inflammation. There's no signs of any infection. I got stitches. It's closed up. It's healed really, really nicely. And so I'm really grateful that I took the last 3 days of rest on doctor's orders. And so far, I haven't had to take any antibiotics. If the doctor prescribes me the antibiotics, I'll take them. However, this doctor has other modalities because she's a holistic dentist. So far it's working. So here's the story. You ready? So good. Once upon a time. Gather around, children. Once upon a time, there was an old man who lived in the countryside. Now, he lived a very, very simple life on his farm. You could consider him poor, and yet some of the most valuable things he had in his life were his son and his horse. His son and his horse were instrumental in running this simple farm, not to mention that they were very dear to his heart. So you can imagine the disappointment this man felt one day to discover that the horse had run away. This horse was so important to him. So when his neighbor came over and saw that the horse had run away, he said, "Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened. This horse is so important to you. Without this horse, how can you do the tasks of the farm? How can you do your harvest? Oh, I'm so sorry. What a tragedy," said the neighbor. And the old man took a breath. He paused. He said, "Tragedy. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who's to know?" So So you can imagine how amazing it was a couple days later when the horse returned. And not only did the horse return, but the horse returned with 3 other wild horses trailing behind. So now, this humble farmer did not just have 1 horse, but he had 4 horses. And the neighbor came over and upon hearing the news said, "Ah, what good fortune you have! How incredible! You are so lucky. You are so lucky for this amazing turn of events." And the old man took a breath, he paused, and he nodded. He looked to his neighbor and he said, "Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who's to know?" The neighbor thought he was a little crazy because 4 horses, come on. But then, a few days later, luck would have it, or misfortune would have it, that while the son was riding one of the new horses and breaking the horse in, the son was thrown from the horse's back and broke his leg. Broke his leg. The father was, the son was bedridden. The son could no longer help with the farm chores. The son could no longer do anything. I mean, he was going to be in bed for the next few months healing this broken leg. What misfortune, thought the neighbor when he came over and saw the news. And he said to the man, "Oh, what bad news. What a horrible thing to have happened to you. Oh, I am so sorry for your misfortune. What bad luck you have." And the old man said, "Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who's to know?" Of course, the neighbor thought he was crazy. "Your son's in bed with a broken leg. This is bad news, man." "Okay, crazy old man." And then a few days later, what had happened in the country but a war had broken out. And the army was coming by each house and drafting every able-bodied young man to go off to battle. The neighbor's son was taken away. But when they came to the house of the old man, they came in and they saw the son laid up in bed with this broken leg and said, "Can't take you." And so like that, the son was saved from having to go to war. But you can imagine what the neighbor came over and said. So what I really like about this story is that it's very easy to look at these things that happen in our life and say, "Oh, this is bad," or "This is good." "This is bad, this is good." And you know, one thing we say around Karuna is, who's to say? Who's to say? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And what this speaks to is that there's a much bigger story at play. There are things happening that we can't necessarily see from where we are, from our vantage point, which is very focused on me and mine, and this is what I want, and this is what I need. And so I like that quote. Sometimes your greatest disappointments are God's appointments. So, you know, I didn't get the house, the 2 houses that I wanted, and I really wanted them. I was like, "No, dude, don't do this to me. Like, don't do this. Like, please give me a chance." Like, I resisted and I struggled against what was happening. More so with the first one than the second one. The second one, I was like, okay. And then it led me into the 3rd house, where I now will have a new companion in my life. So, as my encouragement to you, as you go forward into your life and you encounter the inevitable disappointments that are involved in this being human, I encourage you to be very gentle with the process. And imagine, something I like to ask myself when I'm in that moment of frustration and confusion and doubt, I ask myself, what would what does God want from me in this situation? What does Spirit want from me? What does the infinite intelligence that runs through all things and is orchestrating this much bigger design of life, like what does that universal force want for me? Because if I know that I'm part of nature, I know that nature wants to flourish. The plants, they want to thrive, right? Life wants to grow, right? God wants to prosper you. So if I believe this, then I can also be willing to accept the idea that everything that happens to me is for my greatest good, even though in the moment I may not be able to see it. For example, in June and July, when I was going through that infection and there was all this drama on the channel and I got sick and there was the COVID scare and all this tumultuous chaos and suffering ensued, you know, I look back now and I'm like, wow, there are so many good things that came out of that. In fact, I'm so glad I didn't go to Peru. In fact, I would still be in Peru right now if I had been there. And I would never have met Stella. I wouldn't have purchased the 4th piece of land. There's some stuff that's really important in my personal life that wouldn't have happened. My audience wouldn't have grown. I may not even be talking to you right now if I hadn't gone through that darkness. So that's part of my message for today, is that it's all part of the plan. Even the darkness. That's why I have a t-shirt on my website. It's called My Farts Are Spiritual. A lot of people don't get it. I understand. It's not your typical message. But what that means is that it's all spiritual. It's not just the love and the light and the sound of angels' wings. No, it's the sickness. It's the darkness. It's the fear, the frustration, the farts, the stuff that doesn't look or smell very good. It's also spiritual. And the more we can accept this in our lives, the less we're going to suffer, the less we're going to struggle. Insisting things have to be the way that we want them to be is a really great way to block out the hand of the divine in your life. Because you're not as good of a writer as God is, honestly. Like, I'm not as good of a writer as God is. It's just a fact, man. It's a fact. So, oh, hi, Brock. Brock, I see you there. Brock, thank you. You are my first man to order a t-shirt. Thank you so much. When you get your t-shirt, would you please send me a photo, or would you please post a photo and use the I'm with Erica hashtag? So I want to just talk really quickly. So the I'm with Erica hashtag is a tool for our community to stay connected. It's a tool to declare that you're part of this community of heart-centered seekers going after the truth of their existence, facing your fears, and also being willing to grow through all experiences. And being willing to have these kinds of shifts away from the selfish insistence that life needs to go according to your plan. Because when we let go of all of that, then wow, that's when the magic can happen, man. So I'm going to be clicking on that hashtag quite often. I'm not quite sure yet what we'll do, but if you don't mind, I'll share your photos. And when you click on that hashtag, you can see other people in the community. Maybe we can use it, share your story kind of thing, and then get to know each other better. I think that could be really cool. I'll share when I first started making my videos 7 years ago. I remember the morning. I went into my studio in Charlestown, Massachusetts, right across from the old Schrafft's building. I sat down at my desk and I had my journal and I was trying to write out ideas for this new YouTube channel I was going to do, and what was going to be my catchphrases, what was going to be my message, and from that I came up with Erica, and the adventure continues. So if you notice, maybe you notice, a lot of times when I log out, when I sign out, I say, thanks for being with me. So that came from that original idea of going on this journey and inviting people to come with me. A journey of the heart, a journey of evolution, a journey of exploration and discovery, and creating these videos as a way to invite people to come along, to have an experience, to live vicariously through my journey, and or with the hopes of inspiring others to set out on their journey. So the I'm with Erica hashtag is all about that. It's all about encompassing that sense of adventure and that sense of like, you're coming with me, but we're also doing it together, and you're on your journey and I'm on my journey, and we have similarities but differences, but what guides us and what connects us is this calling of the heart, you know, this willingness to step out and this unwillingness to just like settle for the lives that for the way of living that we were told was the only way. We are learning new ways of living. We are learning new ways of loving. We are learning new ways of relating to each other. And it's a wonderful adventure. Cool, Nan, yay, awesome, thank you. So you can always put the hashtag here in the comments. That always makes me really happy. Oh, Teresa, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate that, thank you. Boston, hi Jean in Boston, good morning. So you can put the hashtag here in the comments, but the real power is when you use it in a post, like a Facebook post, an Instagram post, a Twitter post, because then when I click on it, I can go and see the post. And so that's a great way. Like, I'll follow you if you use it, you know, I'll interact with your post, I'll give you some love. So it's another way for us to be connected. So, thanks for being with me, guys. I'm really happy to be taking you on this adventure. Also, I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it yet. But there's something brewing, which is really exciting, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And it's going to affect the way that I'm making content, although I don't fully yet understand how, but it's going to be a commitment to make more and more consistent content, which is like, aren't I already doing that? Oh, Facebook. So I'm really excited about that. But I signed an NDA, so I can't tell you anything yet. It's very exciting. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. It is 8:45 a.m. I have an appointment for tea at Karuna, which I'm really excited about. Today's our friend Mari's birthday. So I'm going to go over there and celebrate and just be with my friends, which feels really nice, especially after, you know, three days isolating at home. Oh, there's so much more I could tell you. Silence is such good medicine. I love that this holistic dentist like literally prescribed me 3 days of silence, 3 days of not leaving my house as part of my healing. Like, who does that? The other doctor just like, here's antibiotics. Don't talk very much. Different approach. And it's okay. Who's to say? Who's to say? See if you can bring that into your life today. Like, if you find yourself really challenged by a situation, like, see if you can say that to yourself. Like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. Anytime your mind starts labeling things as bad or wrong, just remember the story that I told you today. And just say to yourself, as we do at Karuna, who's to say? Who's to say? Marlene House in the UK. I love that you're watching me too. Amazing. So last thing, I will comment on Penny. I see you there and I love you. Last thing, I'll just leave a comment on. You'll see I have a link below. I'm sharing the information about the retreat. We have a couple of spaces left. It's happening in December, and this is going to be an amazing time where we get to hang out together in person for a week. So I'm so excited to welcome you out of the screen and into the real adventure. I'm going to be showing you the best of Hummingbird Valley. I'm going to be sharing my heart and what I love about this place. And so if you are ready to kind of take a step out of your routine, maybe break out and give yourself a break break out, give yourself a break. Give yourself a retreat here in this beautiful place. That opportunity is available to you. Doors are open, the light is green. The invitation to this adventure is before you. And I would love, love, love to facilitate an experience that will nourish your body, your heart, and your mind. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So I'll be telling you more about that later. I'll give you some more details. The link is below. It's on my website, erikaderrickson.com. I put a little new tab that says retreat. You can go learn all about what's included, the kind of activities we'll be doing. There will be cacao involved. I'm super excited about that. So yeah. And I would love to share this experience with you. I think it's going to be really, really amazing. All right, guys. Let's drink some tea. There's so many things I'm excited to share with you. And if I end up having to make more content, I know we're going to be able to have a lot of really great conversations. My teapot. Fun fact, you want to know where this teapot came from? It was the time when I was writing my book at Karuna, and I had a routine that involved a lot of tea, and going into my house with a lot of tea, and sitting on the floor and poring over my manuscript. And I would always take one of the teapots that was in the kitchen at Karuna. And one day Luke said to me, hey, if you're always going to take the teapot, can you just get your own teapot so you're not, hogging the community teapot? And I was like, at first I was like a little taken back. But then it was like, no, wait, that's actually like a really good request. Thank you for making that really direct request. So when I was at Pana, I went to the market and I found this teapot. And I love this teapot because it looks it makes me think of like a grandmother. And so it has this like really fun kind of nurturing, homey feel to it. And so now that's my teapot. Funny thing is then when I was living at Karuna, it became the community teapot and someone else was always using it. So I hardly got to use my teapot. So when I moved out, I'm like, yoink, this is mine. So, all right, guys. I don't know why my comments aren't refreshing. I'm sorry if I haven't responded to your comment. Cool. Jody asked, do you have to be vaccinated to attend? Yes, Jody. We are asking and requiring people to be vaccinated to attend this retreat. It's not ideal. It's not the best, I know. I'm not crazy about it, but it's one step that we can take to keep people safe. We'll also be using hand sanitizer, face masks in public places, and we'll also be using products to sanitize shared surfaces. Just one thing is there are we'll be spending 6 nights in a lake house. I'm so excited about the lake house. We've rented a gorgeous, super cute lake house for the 6 nights that we're here at the lake. And then we're going to do 2 nights in Antigua. So the 6 nights in the lake house, it's shared accommodation. So there are 2 room types. One room has 2 beds, and the other room, it reminds me of summer camp, where there are bunk beds. So there are 4 bunk beds in one room, and then there are 2 beds in the other room. There's only 1 bed left in the room with the 2 beds. So if you are interested in coming on this experience and you really, really, really don't want to do the dorms, jump on it fast because there's only one of those beds left. So that information is on the website. The link is below. You can check it out. If it calls to your heart, I encourage you to take the leap. That's how I've gotten to where I am today, is I heeded the call. When something was calling to me, maybe I was scared, I wasn't sure if I could afford it, but I knew I wanted to do it. I felt there was something there for me that was important, and I took the leap. And that's why my life is the way that it is today. So if you're feeling the call in your heart, I encourage you to go for it. Everything will be okay. It'll probably be one of the best things you've ever done. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, and Belinda. Hi, Belinda. I'm sorry you couldn't come this time. So, guys, I love you too, Scotty. Yes. Mary, get yourself a teapot, girl. Goldie, you need tips from you on flying there, Penny. Yeah, Penny can help you. The trick is and if you sign up for the retreat, you'll get a welcome packet with all the information, all the dates, how to book your flight. Goldie, if you do come on the retreat, if or not, you'd be flying to Guatemala City and then taking a 3-hour private car or a shuttle to the lake. I can actually hook you up with a woman named Martha who coordinates all of my transportation. Larissa, will I be getting vaccinated while I'm in the States? Yes, that is the plan. That is the plan. I'm not crazy about it. Super not crazy about it. This is not my yay. But I've weighed my options. I've listened to the different sides, and I feel like it would be a responsible thing to do. I know I can still get COVID. I know there are all these things. And it is something I can do to protect myself and protect others. Civic duty, taking one for the team, sort of thing. I also trust in my body and my body's ability to heal myself, and I've done so well at strengthening my system that I feel like I can handle it. So, who's to say? Who's to say? So, great. Amanda, it'll be okay. Oh, Donna, I'm so sorry that happened to your brother. I'm sorry that happened to him, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. I know. Yeah, Donna, I know. There's a lot of complex shades of gray. Yeah. Lori, you'd love to come visit. Vaccination as a question? Great. Honor that. Honor that. And one day in the future, maybe there'll be a different opportunity for you to step in. And so, who's to say? All right, guys. I love y'all very, 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 very much. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing this morning with me. Thank you for sharing a little bit of my story. I hope you enjoyed the story that I told. If you missed the story, I highly recommend you go back and listen to it. The kids are doing well. Stella says hi. If she could say hi, energetically, spiritually, Stella says hi. And I'm sending you a big hug. So much love for you and your journey. Whatever you're going through, who's to say? Be strong. Hold your faith. Trust. Pray. Ask. And then allow the answers come in whatever forms they're meant to come. Who's to say, Melissa? Yeah, Melissa, I think that could be cool. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that. Have you guys seen my t-shirts? Oh, love my t-shirts. I'm going to be adding more. This video could go on forever. So I'm just going to wrap this up and say I love you very, very much. I love you so much, so much, so much. I love you so much, so much, so much. I love you so much, so much, so much. I love you so much, so much, so much. Hey Anna, hey Anna, hey Anna, hey Anna. 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 Hope you guys have a beautiful day. Happy Saturday. May the forest be with you.